Hey, welcome everyone to Dealmakers of Comic Art. I'm your host, Will Gabrielle. Thanks for coming out. So let's talk about it. This is Dealmaker Discussions. This is a Dealmakers of Comic Art. I'm your host, Will Gabrielle. We have an echo already. Thanks for coming out. So let's talk about it. This is Dealmaker Discussions. Let's make sure that's okay. That might have been me. So let's try it again. What's in a name? Dealmakers. Dealmakers is what we are. And I brought together two of my friends who are also dealers. Dealmakers make active deals. The idea came to me about 1.5 years ago. Glenn and I were discussing, getting on a podcast, trying to figure out, oh, there we go. Sorry about the technical difficulties. We were trying to figure out a podcast we could do together that could highlight the hobby. We enjoy talking about it, but we also enjoy deal making. So we discussed it, and it kind of went nowhere. We kept discussing it, and we had the idea of bringing in Bashara because we thought, the three of us, we're not only colleagues, we've been friends for decades now, and we felt that our chemistry, our dynamic would bring a certain fun edge to a show like this. So let me bring in my two deal makers, Glenn Brunswick, Bashar Malouf. Hey, welcome, guys. Uh-oh.
Okay, got it.
There we go.
Can you hear me now?
That's too bad.
We can hear you, yeah. I had my technical difficulties with the echo and with the camera, and
okay. Well, no, I'm upset. I'm very upset because Will, that Spider-Man Lego piece that you opened the show with, I've been looking for in the house for like years. I left it at your house. I'm pretty sure it's mine.
Guilty.
Bashar, you remember me discussing this with you, right? I'm pretty sure.
I'm taking the serious tact here. Glenn is the comic relief of the group, so everything I say is straightforward and nothing humorous about how I'm going to come off. So go ahead, Glenn. No.
Okay. Well, no. Well, I'll tell you what. I'm going to get serious for a moment because the idea of this show for me is personal because you, as Will touched on, we've been friends for years. I feel very close to both you guys. The idea of doing this with you is really, really exciting for me. Will, I remember the first time I came to your house, it was like in 1995, and you opened your fire safe and showed me like multiple twice up Spider-Mans, like the 40 with the Goblin and the 45 with the Lizard and the 41 with the Rhino, and I was and then these multiple Kirby Captain America covers, and I was just blown away. And I thought to myself, one day I'm going to have a fire safe with stuff in it.
So it wasn't the stuff in it. It was.
No. All that stuff is great. The fire safe. Where did you get that thing? I want a 700-pound fire safe. No, and then Bashara, you and I really met. We met early on when I tried to buy a comic book from you, but I didn't know who you were. But later, also in 1995, I think at San Diego, I tried to buy a Romita Spider-Man page from you. And the page you wound up selling me was not exactly the page I wanted. The page I wanted was this beautiful twice up John Romita 43 Rhino page. And at the time, you wanted $2,000 for it. And I had $1,000 to spend, and I tried to negotiate with you. And that was a negotiation that went nowhere for 15 or 20 or 30 minutes, as you explained to me that there was a gentleman in Ohio who some of you may know that pays $2,000 or $3,000 a page. So I wound up getting the lesser two lesser pages for $1,000 from you. But since that time, we forged a really great bond. We've seen each other through multiple wives. And maybe not you, Bashar. And
or you,
or me,
or me.
I'm just talking about you, Will.
I don't know where this multiple wives thing came from, Glenn.
I don't know. It's just, like
Okay.
whenever people talk about knowing each other for a long time, and they like discuss multiple wives. So
Hey, but I do have to make a couple corrections. So the fire safe is actually about 1,000 pounds.
1,000. Okay.
So yeah, it's not
I
something
I can only lift it a little bit off the ground, as I recall.
I've seen 4 guys that can't lift it a little bit, but okay. If you say so, I believe it. And Bashara, I think that so Glenn was trying to get a book from you and didn't quite work out, but did he ever?
He did. He got a Cap 78, I believe.
That's right.
Ah.
Yeah, no, I did. I paid.
78. Yeah.
I tried. He wanted to sell it to me for $275, and I wanted to buy it for $250, and I wound up paying $275. Just so you know.
See, I'm an equal opportunity price slasher.
Something like that. So
my friend.
I was very happy. I was very happy with that purchase, and in fact, that set me on the road to collecting, because I was a young man and starting to remember sort of my nostalgia when you sold me that, and I just happened to, I was in New York for the weekend, and I happened to see a comic show, and I thought like, oh, it'd be fun to go. And I talked to you, and I bought that book, and I brought it home on the plane to California, and I flipped through the book, and I was so happy with it that I started collecting Captain America timelies, and then eventually I sold all of those and got into comic art. So in a sense, you were like the linchpin that got me back into collecting.
And sold you your first piece of comic art.
And well, it's one of my first pieces.
One of your first pieces. Okay.
One of my.
You can't take credit for everything, Bashar.
Can't take it all. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
So somebody asked, are we going to cosplay? This. I'm wearing my family crest, the House of L, and that's probably about the most cosplay you're going to get. But
that is the House of L.
We will bring art, or at least these guys will.
And Jor-El is very upset with him because he's been spending way too much time with what's Jor-El's wife's name?
Wow.
That doesn't sound good.
I'm just saying.
That doesn't sound good.
This is the rumor.
So listen, before we get too sidetracked, because we don't have a lot of time.
Okay.
One of the other things that we hope to do, between the three of us, is we hope to impart plenty of useless information while these two guys are trying to sell you art and I'm trying to referee them. So, if nothing else, there will be plenty of useless but interesting.
I want to be in charge of the useless information. Can I be in charge of useless information?
You can be in charge. I may just have to approve at the end. We'll see. So why don't we do this because we are going to talk about the structure of the show. I apologize. We are not going to give any previews of the artwork on Sunday because we want you to tune in on Sunday. But what we will do is give you a little preview of some things on our website that each of us, I think it was in the title, something like things we just as soon keep or rather not sell or something to that effect. So, Bashara,
actually,
why don't you lead us off?
I will. But before we jump into that, let me give them. Let me say a little word about why we're doing this, and I mean they probably know we're going to sell some pieces, and what makes us a little different. I think what we're going to do is, on my end, you guys talked to me about it and sort of convinced me to get involved.
Twisted your arm, would you say?
Yeah, which is fine. I was I didn't have anything to do anyway, so I figured, why not? Okay, so I've been very distracted. Life has been 2 kids graduating, a lot of family stuff. It's been a crazy few months, but getting back on track. We're gonna offer, as good a quality pieces as we can, and we're gonna give as moderate a price on the pickings of the art that we can. So when I'm going through and picking out pieces for this show, I'm gonna take specific care to try to offer pieces that are very collectible, especially things that are more dear to me that I like. So it'll be, the things, most of my stuff is going to be from the 70s, 80s, and 90s and some 60s pieces. So there'll be and in the superhero realm, of course, and things that are not that are priced where I think people are going to be happy with. So that's my intent on this show, is offer them pieces on a personal level, because I'm much better one-on-one than I am,
Right.
through the internet. I'm really, I function better at home with family. That's why finally I have somebody coming in and helping out, which I need.
Well,
So
for sure. I would also add, I'd add that you, like, one of your like great strengths is personal selling at shows. Like you love the interaction with people at shows, and we haven't had that for a year and a half because of what's been going on. And so I think that this is sort of like a perfect outlet for all of us to be able to have that personal touch with people, and have a back and forth and an interaction that we've all sorely been missing over this time. And I think this is, I mean, just from doing the other show, Will and I have been doing the other show, it's been extraordinarily rewarding. And for me personally, I think of myself as, I mean, I went to art school, and I have like a limited understanding of what I think makes like art great. And I love to be able to sort of impart that information as sort of like a collectible curator for my clients. And I like that personal interaction, and I think you do too. And I think this is a really great opportunity for us to, to be with people and sell in the way that that makes us happy. So I think this will be a great forum for that.
I think it will be. Yeah.
I have to agree with that. I mean, the other thing I would stress is, other than interacting through our websites, which, we welcome people to please continue to, contact us and buy through our websites. But this just feels more live. It's more interactive, like each of you just stated. And the other thing is the claim format. It gives more of a level playing field, because you often hear, some collectors sort of feel like it's not always even. It's not always a fair chance. And I think it gives someone who's a quick decider, who's fast fingered, gets the piece. And we'll be laying out the process to how to claim, and really it's whoever acts the fastest is who gets the piece. And,
right.
And what can be more fair than that?
And for the most part, I think, one of the questions is why do this? Well, I do think that we're going to be offering a lot of pieces that are not on our website. So this is an opportunity to get pieces that no one has seen before. Well, maybe people have seen them before, but hopefully fresh to market, and pieces that will excite the collector base. And so it's not just like sort of browsing our website. No. You'll see some exciting things.
Right.
Absolutely.
Well,
so with that said, Bashara, why don't you show a few pieces on your website that you really don't care if they sell or not?
All right. Well, of course we care to a degree that they sell. But what happens is, I know I've learned since I've been putting on pieces on a weekly basis for 16 months, I have a lot of pieces in there. And when you asked me to pick out a few, I actually went back and browsed my website. I'm like, wow, there are pieces that if I was to rebuy pieces and had my dealer hat on instead of my collector hat, that I'm like, wow, I think I'd have to pull the trigger on the first piece I'm going to show you at the price that I still have it on. So what happens sometimes in sites is, especially I think my site, maybe more than others, because it's sort of been, launched early on, and I launched with a lot of pieces, and there are things that get lost. Nobody goes back. Not as many people go back and look through the site. They see my weekly updates immediately. But there are hidden treasures on all our sites that you're like, wow, I didn't know you had that piece. And I didn't know, and at times they're like, I didn't know you had that piece at that price. So it sounds pretty good. The first piece that came to mind is Tomb of Dracula, number 16, the splash page. I love this piece. It's as good as any cover. It has Dracula. It has werewolf, the bat, the haunted house, enter werewolf, Tomb of Dracula on it. I mean, it's Gene Colan. It's so beautiful, and the price point is $9,800. So when I see that, and I was rebuying, like I said, as a dealer instead of a collector, I'm like, wow, that's an appealing price. And I'm like, well, I don't care, I can take that off the site, put it away, and put it up for a few thousand more in a year, and I would have no problem putting that price on it and thinking that somebody will buy it. It's really a wonderful piece that I really adore, and I think it's priced so perfectly for somebody that I have no problem having it. So that's my first piece.
It's a looker.
It's a looker.
That's a nice piece. Wow.
The second piece is not, it's not a giveaway price at all. It's not. But it's my passion. My passion is the surfer, and and his cohorts, the FF, and of course Galactus. This is very reminiscent of FF48. If ever FF48 ever came on the market, I would hope that I had some chance to get something from it. And for me, it's Burn. It's the pinup, the 30-year anniversary of the FF. To me, it has it all. So the price point of the first one is a great price. This one, I wouldn't say is a great price. It's a retail price, but I love it so much that I'm like, all right, you don't want to buy it now? You'll buy it eventually. It's so great that I just love this piece. So a different matter. Great content, plus a personal, Surfer is my favorite all-time character, as my my logo will attest to. So there's my love for that piece.
Well, hey, Bashar, let me just ask you why do you love Surfer so much? What is it about Surfer that excites you?
Oh boy.
Oh.
All right. It's just on a personal note. It's a an immigrant coming to this country at the age of 8 from Lebanon. It's not easy. It's not easy when you enter a world without speaking the language and no friends, and it's not easy. So Surfer to me was always, and also having a bit of a religious background. Surfer, I don't want to throw religion in there. It's sort of the ideal Christ-like, Muhammad-like, whatever person you want to use, Buddha-like, whatever deity of goodness and love you want to bring in. That's what he exemplified, and sort of the being that's misunderstood. He only means well,
Okay.
He's so powerful that he still shuns revenge and everything. So he's perfect.
I thought you were going to tell me something like, I just love silver underwear, and you got pretty heavy. That's cool.
It's that cosmic power. No, so he's very, he's so great. I love it. Of course, the history of the character is wonderful also, but he just resonates, I think, with a lot of us collectors.
Right.
A lot of
I love the Surfer too. For different reasons, just because I'm such a huge Jack Kirby fan, and that feels like a character that's sort of like, just came right out of Jack's mind without any influence from anyone else. That's like solely his creation. But
I think the fact that you have a being of such unlimited power who's in a way kind of innocent. That's sort of cosmic irony that appeals to some people. And yeah,
Right.
then there are the religious overtones, and no, he's a great character.
He is.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Very
And I love that piece too. It's a great piece that you're showing here as well. So.
All right. What do I have next?
I'm usually a little more critical when we go into the later burn pieces, but that one is a standout. I must agree.
It is a little later, but actually, this is just a personal favorite growing up. You know, Starlin cover.
Romita inked, right?
Romita inked, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I love the cover. You know, it's you know, the Thing. I couldn't ask for the Thing to be much better. You know, one of my favorite all-time characters. I mean, you know, the Blood Brothers holding him back, you know, pinning him down, the Iron Man coming in. It's, you know, growing up in the 70s, that was one of the great Marvel covers. And it's, you know, and the funny thing is, two different dealers have tried to trade me out of it. So I know it's not unreasonably priced. And it's just, you know, every once in a while I'm like, oh, why am I selling this? You know,
I was surprised because you called me to talk about this cover while you were like in the process of trying to get it. I don't remember if it was a trade or a purchase or some combination, but you seemed pretty excited about it.
Yeah. You know, I was having the same conversation today about another piece. I'm thinking like, and the collector was like, "Sure, well, why are you getting? You know, this is another piece privately. It's like, why are you getting rid of that other piece?" I'm like, I you know, because I'm a collector first in my mind. So there are other things. I'm like, things are getting so expensive. My tastes are getting too expensive that I need money to buy other things. So I sell good things also to buy other things that mean a lot. So I don't know. I think when I have my dealer hat on, I have to offer very good quality pieces also. You know, we can't keep it all. So that's the answer, I think.
I think it's a really sort of an interesting math equation. It like, you know, you're constantly selling things that are great to get other things that are maybe better, but are they better? Who knows? It's like, you know, yeah, I mean, maybe they mean more to you personally, but maybe they won't later, like once you get it in, and like, you know, so it always is like sort of like a strange balancing act.
That's what happens when you wear both hats. Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a constant hustle in a good way.
In a good way.
In a good way. Yeah.
Right.
It's a hustle of passion.
Yes. So those are my three.
Those are great. Those are great pieces.
They are. Glenn, why don't you take us through your selections that you wouldn't mind if they didn't sell so quickly?
Okay, I'll do that. So I'm not sure which one is popping up first here. So okay. All right. So this is a double page. I'm going to go over here. This is a double page spread from New Frontier, issue number 3. It's by Darwin Cook. And Darwin Cook is, I think, just really, really an interesting creator. And the reason I like him so much is when he started his comic career, he had already been in an animation for years. So his first comics that hit publication were like, you know, he was an artist that was already fully formed and, you know, just a fabulous cartoonist. But it's almost like a great cartoonist that sort of swallowed Jack Kirby whole and, you know, sort of, you know, has like a more limited palette in terms of the simplicity of the design and the drawing, but all the power of like sort of a Jack Kirby image. And this piece in particular is the Challenger's ship exploding, and we get a chance to see what happens to all the characters as the ship like explodes in midair. And I don't know, this is just like a mind-blowing piece. you know, whether or not the price is fair or not, I don't know. That was sort of like the price that I put on it to part with it. But if it never sells, I enjoy looking at it intensely. So anyway, that's my first piece.
You were really feeling it though. You said Darwin swallowed Jack Kirby whole. I mean, I instantly saw the whale in Jonah.
Yeah,
I like the imagery.
So
no, it's a great piece though.
Right. Okay. So all right. So here we have like a Sal Buscema penciled cover, and it's you know, it's a very dramatic cover, and you know, Doc Ock looks great and everything, but it's the Sienkiewicz inks here that really make this a special piece for me personally. I've always really liked Sienkiewicz. He just, you know, the paintings that he did just have always wowed me, and I've always wanted one, but never really found the right one that sort of resonated at the right price. When I had the opportunity to pick this up, it was expensive. I paid high for it, and I was happy to do it because I just feel like all of what Sienkiewicz puts into his own drawings, he sort of like rendered here. I mean, he almost covers up Buscema entirely. Just the sort of like the gothic nature of the thing, and like the evil grin of Doc Ock's final victory of Spider-Man here. It's just, to me, it's, you know, art needs to move you emotionally in some way, and this one just really moves me. So if it never sells, I get to look at it a very long time, and I'm happy with that.
Can I make a quick mention? I ran into Sienkiewicz at Heroes many years back. The Heroes Con is in Charlotte in June every year, and it's a great convention because you have tons of artists there. It's really well done by Shelton, and I was watching him. You know, I stand behind him, watching him do a Batman colored piece. I was like really awestruck, and I would come back every little while and watch it, you know, being born.
Yeah,
I was like,
he's so talented. He's like an artist, you know. I mean, the artists look at him and go like, "Oh my God, he's talented." Unbelievable.
So I was every few years I'd run into him again. I'd go and see if I can watch him work for a little bit. I was, what a talent. Jeez.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, when you told me about this piece, and you met, and I didn't remember it, but you told me it was Sal Buscema Sienkiewicz inks, and I just thought, And then when I saw it, I understood why you liked it so much.
You know what's really funny is I actually read this run, and when Sienkiewicz came on the book in print, I didn't like it. I was like, this is a total mismatch with Sal Buscema, and it didn't print well. But when you see the originals, you really understand what Sienkiewicz is going for, and it just, you know, it's a shame that like the printing sort of like, you know, the ability of printing back then with the coloring just doesn't do that art team service at all. And when you see the originals, it's just a totally different animal, and you know, so
can't argue.
You can argue if you want to.
I choose not to at this moment.
Choose not to. All right. Okay. So that's the second piece that I'd be excited to keep if I had to keep it a long time. And okay. So this is sort of the pièce de résistance of pieces that I don't mind keeping. And this is penciled by Don Heck. It's Avengers 23 Splash from 1965. It is the very first piece of art that John Romita, who inked this piece, worked on when he came back to Marvel from DC. He's just off a stint in DC Comics where he was buried in the romance department. That's all they let him do, and he wanted to do superheroes. So he was unleashed by Stan, and he initially just wanted to ink. He told Stan he didn't want a pencil, so this was the job that he was given. And I mean, look at Scarlet Witch. She like literally walked off one of one of those romance books that he'd just been working on. She's like gorgeous, and just like Ramita's lines here, and then it's just an early Avengers splash. And you know, the truth be told, I'm even at the price that I have it at, I'm amazed that I still have it. I thought that this would be snatched up long ago, but I'm not saddened that that I get to carry it around when I go to shows, and I get to look at it. It's just a phenomenal piece of Marvel history, and something that I think is extraordinarily lovely and exquisite. So that's my take.
I agree. I actually love it. I'm a big fan of the Avengers and a big fan of early Twice Up splashes, so it's right down my alley. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, it almost sort of Hawkeye almost comes off the paper. I mean, it's a really good piece.
When the splash is, at night when no one's looking, Hawkeye does come off the paper. It's
kind of like a Toy Story type of thing. Okay.
A little like that, yeah.
But
just don't let it escape.
But for years he would come off the paper and he would help me hunt for that little Spider-Man Lego that you apparently took from me. But yeah.
Wanda.
I actually think our producer took it, but I can't take credit for it. But anyway.
Yeah. So, well, Will, why don't you? So we should probably pivot to your three. I assume you.
Yeah, I'm gonna go through them a little quickly because I think we really should get to the structure of the show because that's sort of why we're here.
So let me interject for a second, just to remind everybody that the actual launching of the show is, I believe, we're having it Sundays at 2 p.m.
2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. on the West Coast, and it'll be like 7 or 8 o'clock in Europe.
11 o'clock on the West Coast. Sorry, right. I got
11. Wait a minute, I have to wake up by 11. Did you say? Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That's right.
That way they know when it's happening for real.
But 2 p.m. Eastern on Sundays. If ever we have to deviate from that, we will give advance notice, but that is the plan. 2 p.m. Eastern on Sundays.
Okay.
So, yeah, I'll be happy to show my pieces that I wouldn't mind sticking around for a little while. This. So I put a modern piece in here. Eddie Barrows, which I think I've talked about, him on another podcast, but I just think he's such a phenomenal artist. He's a talent that came out of Brazil, which DC seems like they really, sought out Brazilian artists. And I mean, I just think he sort of evokes the anatomy of Buscema with sort of an Alan Davis flair to his line work. And I just think it, presents beautifully. It sort of has an older school feel, but just the amount of detail. I mean, if you could hold this piece up closely, even if you look up by the logo, which is hand done, it looks almost like Zipatone. It's cross hatching. I mean, the guy is he puts a lot into it. He really puts a lot into it. So, this is a piece. Yeah, I put it up for sale. I'm more of a fan of his Batman work because I think the stories are really good. But I just think this is a really beautiful Titans cover, and I don't think either one of you guys are too interested in modern stuff personally. But
that cover though is it's nice.
Yeah, no.
In simple terms, it's nice. The layout, the execution, the face, the mirrors. It's very creative.
The composition is quite lovely. It's a Titanic cover.
Ooh, Titanic. And Fred, who reps Eddie, also mentioned Eber Ferreira's inks, who I sort of think is the modern dream team. Barrows and Ferreira. I mean, they mesh so well together. Another Brazilian artist. So, and they actually draw on the same paper most of the time. Pencils and inks, which is another added touch for some of us who have become accustomed to pencils and inks on the same page. So that's my first piece. I don't remember what the second piece. So, I don't normally look at a whole lot of unpublished work, but this was a cover that George Perez, inked by Joe Sinnott, finished completely and had sent it for submission to Marvel. And the story is it got lost in the mail. So quickly they had John Buscema sort of redraw, and he more channeled that bottom scene with the villain and the beast. But I think this cover is just so much better than the published. I used to own the published as well. So I mean, I've seen both originals up close, and this one just, I mean, that face of the beast, and George Perez is just, it's a high watermark for the Avengers, and those are just characters that are attached to him. He really gave the look of the late 70s and early 80s to the Avengers.
Does that say Sinnott Inks on that?
That is Sinnott Inks.
Yeah. Huh. And the idea of getting like a vintage George Perez Avengers cover at that, I mean, I have to say that's like a really great price too. So I mean, that's
it is. I mean, it's priced obviously because it's unpublished. It would be,
right. I get it, but I mean, it's just it's so fantastic.
It's still at a good price point. I think. I'm a little surprised this didn't sell, but timing is everything sometimes. But I don't mind looking at it in the meantime.
It's pretty nice.
Yeah.
Era. I read all those books.
I go back and reread them every 7 years or something. I don't know. But and I think the last piece I do remember, it's not something quite as much in my wheelhouse, but it's the rarity of it. So yeah, it's a late 60s 15-cent Green Lantern cover by, I mean, I think Gil Kane is the artist on Green Lantern. Of course, there's Neil Adams, there's Mike Grell, both of who work I love. I grew up on Mike Grell's stuff, but I mean,
where did you get such a wonderful piece, Will?
I mean, it just feels like the character and the artists are just meant to be. That it's so emblematic of one another. And
I'm just wondering who would trade you such a wonderful cover? Like, I mean,
I don't know. I mean, some fool in his art parted. I don't know.
Okay. All right. Now I'm very clear on who it was.
Yeah. No, but I mean, this is just a cover where you have Green Lantern, you have the Lantern Battery, you have his main villain. You don't have to worry about the butt shot as much because the logo covers it up. But above all, it's the rarity. If you've collected this era of DC covers, you can find more twice up Gil Kane Green Lantern covers than you can small size. They're tough to find, and I just think this is a really good one. So
under 100, there are just a few. That's it.
Yeah.
There aren't many 15-cent, 20-cent Kane covers that are Gil Kane for Green Lantern.
This one is, I mean, this one is a really dramatic piece as well. I mean, just the composition, the way that he frames the whole thing with the legs, and you get to see a defeated Green Lantern at his feet. I mean, it's really nicely done.
So and here's the other thing, and this is small, but who had a better logo at that time than Green Lantern? I mean, the flaming lantern logo with him running at you.
Yeah, no, it's great.
It's not art, but it's pretty. It just adds to it. So.
And for that price, you're getting a Bagley Spider-Man cover. So
Yeah, it's a little mind blowing, but there are those that grew up with Bagley, and that is their golden age, and I totally understand. And I mean, I've had Bagley art, and he's a really good artist, but it is a little mind blowing when we start to compare apples and oranges.
Yeah. So when you break it down, it's well worth it.
Yeah. So we're getting a request, Bashar. We're not going to indulge it too much because, again, we really need to lay out the format of the show. But we're getting a request to show some art on your wall. So I'm just going to suggest that you just point to the biggest piece that's right behind you.
The biggest piece.
That's easy, you know. Just point to the biggest piece.
It's the giant plop cover.
It's plop.
That is a plop. The plop 11 cover is ginormous,
and it's huge. It's huge.
Yeah, it's huge.
Maybe put
That is
Bashara in the main window so he can show up.
Yeah. Let's there we go.
There it is.
Yeah. The there's a few pieces here. See what else is on here. Oh, this is a cool cover. You can't see there, but
don't drop it.
I'll move things around in the future. This is a fun one.
That's neat.
Yeah.
This one you guys haven't seen before.
I saw it years ago. I haven't seen it in a long
Years.
Years.
I'll periodically, every few shows, I'll put some more pieces up. That's probably that needs to be put up.
I was gonna say, is the Thor page leaning on the heater? Is that
no? That there's no heat on. No, okay. I just moved it. I just moved that. That's not a Thor page. That's Avengers 1.
Oh,
well, sure.
It's a 2/3 splash.
Now, can we ask if the Avengers 1 is on the heater then?
Yes, it is.
Is that the page where Hulk is juggling the elephants?
Yeah, well, the elephant, the horse, and the seal.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah. That's a.
I like to take my Daredevil 1 page in the shower, just so you know.
Actually, Daredevil 1 is holding up my my planter. Actually, I'm using it to move things around.
Right.
We shouldn't joke like this.
No, we shouldn't joke like that. Yes, okay. There's a few pieces there.
Yeah, no, we will. I'm actually in the middle of an office move. I moved into my new space, and I have no art on the wall, but I have a life-size Spider-Man statue, and I didn't light up the DC bullet, but we're getting settled in. So I'll have some art up there pretty soon, and I won't have any plop covers or Avengers 1 pages, but I promise not to hang anything on my heater or any other dangerous place. So we should get to the structure of the show. We said we weren't going to let this go too long, and I think we're already going a little bit long. Basically, the show is going to be structured in levels, sort of like a video game, sort of like a video game adventure. And so there'll be 10 levels, and each of our deal makers will be presenting one piece on each level. So there'll be a total of 20 pieces being presented throughout the show. We did not want to overwhelm you with too many pieces. The show we expect to run about as long as we did tonight, about 45 or 50 minutes. So we're going to be short and sweet and hopefully not take up too much time, but what we bring you, we hope you'll look forward to each week. Each level is going to last 1 minute, where each Glenn will present his piece for a minute, and then Bashara, or whichever order we're in that week. It's easiest to claim the artwork while it's being presented, but it can be claimed at any time. We'll be putting this up. We just don't have the slide ready for this show, but we will certainly be going over this. But it will be claim, the level number, and your deal maker's name, and that'll be the easiest way to do it. Trying to think. As you're doing now, you are welcome to interact with one another, with us, and of course claim. Feel free to claim. Someone asked, will the deal makers take offers? I mean, that is up to them, but from what I understand, everything is going to be priced to sell. It's going to be priced fairly, and I think a lot of things are going to disappear while they're being presented. So I don't know that there'll be an opportunity to make an offer, but we shall see.
And the bonus round?
Yeah, and then we're going to have at the end what we call a bonus round, where we will be presenting any unsold artwork once again quickly we'll move through them for each of our deal makers, and you'll have an opportunity to to have another shot at it. Something else we're going to do is on occasion, and we're still sort of, this is a new format for us. We're still sort of feeling things out, but we discussed having some giveaways randomly. Some fun things. I mean, we're not giving away covers or cars or vacations to Hawaii or anything like that, but just some fun comic-centric giveaways from time to time. Price points. Someone's asking what price points are going to be. So we're going to start low and go higher. So the first couple rounds are most likely going to be under 500. They might be under 750. It's going to vary depending upon what pieces our two deal makers present to me each week. I won't know until I see them, and they will not know what the other one is presenting. I'm not going to share that with each other. I will know, obviously, a couple days before the show, but we will decide price points at that point. But we are going to start low. We definitely want to accommodate collectors of all price points. So it might break down something like $750, $1,500, $2,500, $5,000 and under. But these are price points: $750 and under, $1,500 and under, $3,000 and under, and then maybe the last level or two. It will be their discretion, and it doesn't always mean it's going to be a high price piece. It might be something mid-range. We'll find out together, but it will start lower and gradually work its way up. Another thing we're going to do that we're still working out is, obviously someone will have more claims at the end of the show, and
you mean a winner and a loser, is that correct?
Yeah, a winner and a loser. So there will be a winner and a loser, and something we're going to do, but we're still working out some of the details, is the loser is going to have to send the winner something. And the winner, when he receives the prize or what have you, the gift, his significant other or loved one or friend or whoever the hell's available at the time is going to videotape his reaction. So it may be, something like Glenn likes sushi. It may be a sushi dinner if he happens to win. Or
I know just the place, actually.
Okay. Well, you share that with me, and I'll let Bashar know. And
in fact, Bashar's
that?
taking me to this place in New York that I want him to deliver.
Oh, I think he took me there too, but no wife swapping, Fred. That's a different show.
The many wives of Glenn, by the way, that he didn't inform us about.
He's the one who mentioned it. That's all I can say. But so Bashar, who may or may not like sushi, but I hear he does like singing telegrams, especially when someone dresses up, maybe like a clown or
or
you never know. You never know what you might see, but we're gonna have that probably at the top of each show. We're gonna have the previous week's surprise.
Yeah, good luck me convincing my wife to partake in any of this. Your
son is still home. Yeah, he hasn't gone off to college yet. So I guess
my children will. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So is there anything either one of you would like to add? Did I? Of course, we will provide contact information so you can get contact if there's something that you claim. We will definitely be taking care of that. But is there something either one of you would like to add? Did I miss anything?
I mean, just to highlight that we'll probably take the show a little bit more seriously than maybe other shows out there, and maybe try to be a little more informative on things that we're passionate about. But we'll also have some fun with it also.
Oh yeah, no, but I mean, I think the idea is that we're gonna, we have all this, as you put it, Will, all this useless knowledge in our head for many, many years, and certainly no one in my house wants to listen to this useless knowledge. So
Right.
It's got to go somewhere. And, you know, I think this is the, this is the forum.
I can only talk to Spider-Man, but for so long. I mean, Surfer is in another room, and I think Rocket and Darth Maul. But you know, after the initial shock of my kids getting scared every time they came in the house at night, and me talking to each of these, you know, there's somewhere I got to release this useless information other than to the life-size statues. So,
all right, I think you've touched upon all the bases. Thank you.
Maybe just a little more than we need.
Well, no, this is great, guys. I'm
Yeah.
very excited. I'm so happy we're doing this together, and I'm really looking forward to Sunday. I think, Bashara, you better bring the gloves, baby, because you're going down. Understand?
Yeah, well, I'll have my I won't comment my what I was gonna say. But yes, I'll be ready, Glenn. I'll be ready.
Right. I'm glad that you are going to be ready.
I hope so. We'll all be ready. I won't have anything covering my camera and sound on, and you know, we'll have all that worked out. But no, listen, I hope that everyone enjoyed our little preview. We just wanted to give you a little taste of what is to come. It is a claim show, and yes, somebody said, have I seen this format before? Yes, you have, but if you've watched other claim, there's like 100 comic book claim shows. The format is pretty much the same no matter where you go. So, you know, there's only so many ways you can change it up. But again, we will try and make this fun and informative, and we will bring you fun pieces, hopefully at fair prices, you know?
Right. And I think the idea is that we're gonna try and keep the ball rolling, keep this moving quick, and keep it interesting. And, you know, hopefully there's something for everyone at every price level. And, you know, there are reasons for all the collectors to show up and tune in, because it'll be a fun show. We'll have fun doing it. And, you know, hopefully everyone will enjoy it as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So with that said, we hope to see all of you back at 2 p.m. on Sunday. We'll be ready to roll. Be ready with your fingers to claim, and you know, we'll see what these two deal makers bring. Somebody did ask real quick, will I ever sell? My arm may get twisted from time to time to pop in, and someone may take the host chair, but for now, for at least a while, you know, these are your deal makers, and if you guys have dealt with them, you know they have lots of great material. And again, I'll just emphasize, they're going to be bringing fresh material to this show. It's not going to be picking off their websites. I'm not going to say never, ever will they pick, you know, something off their website, but 95% of the time, they're going to be bringing fresh material. So that is something to tune in for.
All righty. Well, thanks, everyone. And we'll see you Sunday, bright and early. You're on the West Coast.
Bright and early, 2 p.m. Eastern on Sunday. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Have a great night.